Okay guys, let's chat about making a grocery list. Doesn't that sound exciting? For some of you, it's probably like math, like, I'm the type of girl who likes math and I like grocery lists. So most people go to the grocery store and they just buy whatever the heck they want, whenever they want to buy it. And then later they're upset because they don't know where their money went. Let's not be those people. Okay. If you've not been here before, I'm Mommabear2many I. I am mom to 15 children. Yes, to break it down, because some people ask, yes, I literally gave birth to 15 children. Actually, I have been pregnant 20 times. 20. Some of my babies are in heaven. But I gave birth to 15 children. I think the confusing thing is sometimes people say, oh, you have 15 in your household. That's because there are 15 people in our household right now because some of them are grown-ups. Actually, my oldest son, he is moved out of the house. He's married, has his own house. My next son, he passed away in 2022. So the remaining 13 children down to Azariah, who is 8 months old, all live home here with me and my husband. That makes mom, dad, and 13 other people in this house, which I'm feeding on a daily basis. So let's talk about that grocery shopping list. I used to do this thing, and I think most people in the beginning stages, what they do is they will make out a menu. They'll just look through cookbooks or look through things, and they make out a menu plan that's like, okay, we're gonna have chicken and rice and broccoli on this day. We're gonna have ham and potatoes this day. And then they're gonna take and make a large shopping list of everything that they need for the month for those items. That's one way to make a shopping list. But doing that does not give you room in your budget to produce a well-stocked pantry. And I'm all about having a well-stocked pantry. Why? Because you can't always get to the store. Things happen. I live in Maine. There could be a blizzard. Maybe not in July, but there could be a blizzard. There could be electrical outages. There could be, my husband one day, years ago, this is about, 13 years ago. Oh my goodness, I'm getting old. About 13 years ago, my husband came home. He had been working at the same job for 10 years, and they said, oh yes, we outsourced your job. You have 2 weeks. What? That means we only had one paycheck until, because he got paid every 2 weeks, we had one paycheck to think about how we're gonna live without an income. I am so thankful I had a well-stocked pantry. I want that for you guys too. Yes, there's such a blessing in just having food. Then you can buy it when it's on sale. You don't have to pay full price. So what I do is I look in my pantry and see everything that I have down in my pantry. I am going to share with you in this clip here what that looks like. Now that I have an idea of what I have and what I need, then I can fill those spots. So I will have, no, not fill the spots. Reverse, not fast forward, reverse. What I'm going to do now that I know what I have, I am going to write a list of things that I see that one, need to be used up soon. Those are items that are in my fridge that could be used up soon. Those are items that are in my pantry that maybe are close to expiration date. I'm not huge on expiration date. You got to get rid of it at that point, but I do like to rotate things through. So if it looks like it needs to be rotated, yeah, 2 years old, I should probably use it fairly soon. That's how I hang. Anyway, I know some of you are like me and other people are like, oh, she eats expired food. Oh my, call the expiration police. That's okay, we can all be different. So I am going to take all those foods that I need to be using, and I'm going to write those down. I don't need to write them down anymore. I just have them in my head. I know I have this really weird brain that just kind of compiles all these things. I must have been doing it for a while. I think things become second nature after you've been doing it for a while. So write those things that you have down that you want to use. And then what I'm going to do is try to make a menu out of some of those items. Now, I also am going to look for if my area has sale flyers, or if I know a store has something that is cheap, that's, how should I say this? Let's say Sam's Club chicken by the case is always cheap. Like you can usually get like drumsticks for, it's around $1 a pound. That's cheap meat. So if you can do that, then you might want to, if you're on a budget, you might want to include a lot of that into your budget. If beans is not a bad thing for you, then you can do beans. Just think, chicken, $1 a pound. Beans, $1 a pound. Actually, it's $1.25 for beans. So, you know, just think about your different components of your recipes. So your recipe should have meat, veg, and, well, not necessarily meat. I say meat. Majority of the time it's meat. A protein, a veg, and a carb. We like to do like protein, veg, carb. So we like to have our veg is usually our biggest section. Then we have a protein that's a fairly large section. And then we like to have a snibby of a carb. Our snibby of a carb is usually, just depending on people, the serving size would probably be like around 20 to 30, depending on age, size, whatever. So our carb would just be around that. My older people might eat more of that than other people, but we like to kind of have it as like a separate component if we're having a carb with it, or make it tiny so everyone can have that. That's why like I make crustless quiche so that I don't have a high carb. That's why I make a like when I make my pot pies, I put like biscuits or cornbread or whatever on top versus the whole bottom and top, so I can size that down with the carb. Okay, so now that we have an idea and we've put a couple things down that we're interested in, then we are going to think about what we want. So let's say, and I'm just going to give you some things that are cheap. I know it really annoys people sometimes when I eat and drink when I'm talking, but hey, if me and you were having a conversation by my window right here, I would have my coffee and I'd be drinking coffee. You would too. I wouldn't be annoyed with you taking a sip. It's kind of a pain in the butt to put down all these little clips of things together. It's hard enough to have all these clips sitting on your phone and trying to like organize them all, because I don't have a $1,000 computer. Maybe one day. But for now, I'm not in that type of budget. So I'm going to take all these things. So I know, let's say drumsticks are really cheap, like I just said. So I might say, okay, my family would eat drumsticks once a week. Let's say chicken leg quarters are, you know, this much. They're fairly inexpensive. So right now in my freezers, I'm looking, and I had a lot of chunked beef. So I ended up using that as chunked beef and chunked pork. So we ended up bringing our grinder down here so I could grind some of that up and I could have some of those things along with our meals. So if you want to see the menu plan, feel free to look at my menu plan. Now for me, what I do is I would have my menu plan all listed out, and then I would literally chicken scratch things like this. So I would write down what I would need for my menu plan. So I wrote down for you guys, I wrote down everything that would be needed for all of the meals that I listed on the menus. So all the ingredients are listed down on there. Now, what I would do is I would take that for the meals, I would put it in front of me, and then anything that I didn't need because I already had a lot of it, I would cross out, or I would highlight the items that I needed. One or the other, both techniques work. You do whatever works for you. So crossing out all the things that I don't need, and now I only am left with a set amount of items. Now, I'm gonna put those set amount of items down on a paper, or use that same sheet, which is great. Use that same sheet. Then I'm gonna go on to the stores that I plan on going on to and get the prices next to those items. Now, what I'm gonna do is take those prices and tally it all up, see my grand total. Now, that is the grand total that it's going to take me to feed my family for the month, those meals that are in front of me. Now that I have that, if my budget is this and my list total is this, then I know I have this. Make sense? Okay, so if say because I keep a stocked pantry, a lot of times mine is really low, but let's just pretend my grocery budget is say $500. That's my grocery budget for the month. And nobody has a grocery. I should actually make it bigger, because my grocery budget that I spend for my family of 15 is like similar to what people are spending for a family of 4. So I'll just use my grocery budget. So say $1,000 a month. So say I have $1,000 a month to spend on groceries. And once I've tallied up all of my stores, I've looked at 3 different stores. I've got the cheapest prices at those 3 different stores, and I'm marking what store and the price next to it on my tally sheet. Now, once I've received all of those, have the grand total, and that comes up to say $700. Okay, $700, that's my meals for the month. Now, our family snacks. My goal is to do $700 worth of my meals. Then I'd throw $100 at snacks, and then I would take the other $200 as a stock up haul. So that would be items that I am getting on sale, discounted, good things to stock up on. Let's see. If you saw a loss leader or something that looks really cheap on the front page of your sale flyer, that would make a great stock up. Another thing that would make a great stock up is, hey, you go into the grocery store and there's a bunch of yellow stickers on some meat. Ring, ring, ring. Grab them all, or grab as many. And this also gives you a limit. I can grab as many as this counts. So I would grab those things so that I would have extra for the next time. Now, another thing that I might use for my stock up haul would be, hey, I noticed that we're running low in a basic item. Say it was oatmeal. I noticed that we're running low in a basic item. I plan on going to that store that is the cheapest store that I get oatmeal at. I'm gonna spend this bulk amount of money on oatmeal. So those are all techniques to use in order to get your stockpile stocked up. If you don't feel like any of those meet you right now, or you're just starting out, get yourself some basics. Oatmeal, rice, beans, flour, whether that be gluten-free, whatever kind of flour you want to use, wherever you're at in your journey with flour. Maybe pasta if you eat pasta. Sugar if you eat sugar, maple syrup, honey. Pick those basic type, baking soda, baking powder. Pick those types of things that you can create things with, cornmeal. All of those are great basic products that it's great to have on hand, because if you need to, then you could make like I don't know, soup with biscuits, and then you'd already have the biscuit product. As you eventually do that, then your cost for what you actually need to purchase is so low because you've stocked your pantry so well. So I think just buying my groceries, or the amount that I would need to buy for my meals for this month plan that I personally had, was under $300. So my cost to buy those things, the under $300, plus my fresh fruits and vegetables, $500 max for like all of that, which gives me $500 to spend on 500 stock up. So that means I'm looking for sales, grabbing up sales. I'm looking for those bulk items that I might need in my pantry, grabbing those items, so that later on it will be a blessing to my family, because I don't have to pay top price, because I don't need to pay for Walmart to give me a little Walmart haul in between, and then I gotta pay the tip, or I gotta pay for gas to go get it or whatever. No. Then I already have those items. Maybe it's some extra seasonings. Maybe it's, what is it, guys? What is it for you? Coffee. Maybe it's coffee. Yeah. So that's what I do. That's how I do my groceries. That's how I can keep my budget down so low. I also tell myself I can't go over that budget. There are times that I've snibbled a little bit over the budget, but I tell myself mentally that no, this isn't an option. I need to figure out a way to make it work in that budget. And if that means that no, I can't afford the steak, I need to buy hamburger, or those drumsticks, whatever it is, then that's what I do. But I want to make sure that they're having real foods. Most likely for that $100 snack budget, you're not going to be buying Oreos, mini packs of goldfish, little cutesy crackers, candy. You're probably not going to be buying those things, because that's going to add up huge. You're probably going to be buying, if you are trying to give your kids nutritionally dense foods, you are going to be buying bananas. You're going to be buying apples, whatever fruits and vegetables are on sale. You're going to be buying carrots. You're going to be buying, all those types of things over prepackaged foods. You're going to be using all your little tidbits, and I hope this month that I'm going to be able to give you a little tidbits thing. You're going to be using all your little tidbits and not wasting them, so you have that extra money. So, how are you saving money in groceries? Write it down in the comments below. I hope you all have a blessed and wonderful day.